Who would play what role Ananya Pandey? Bae.
Maybe Orry.
Satyajit?
I'd like to see Karan
I
Johar
would
as
say
Satyajit.
Karan.
See, I got stopped.
What?
Yes, by the cop.
Why?
Yeah, I was like, Jao Dina Saab and all that.
My, struggle, not my struggle, I'm not using the word struggle.
I'm stopping you before you have your moment.
Like, what does hashtag Bhen-Code entail?
Not letting boys come in the way.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Just to fill me, just to fill me.
It's a fun show. I'm going to start by saying that. But there's so much more to it. Hi and welcome to Just to Fill Me. I'm Rotalks and I am sitting with Bae number 1 and Bae number 2.
That's Bae number 1 and Bae number 2.
Bae number 1, Bae number 2.
Yeah.
You know, I remember at the trailer launch when both of y'all admitted that actually Karan, who's Karan Johar, is the Baeest of them all.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
Yeah, he's the OG Bae.
He's the real Bae. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
OG Bae.
Bae होने के लिए क्या करना पड़ता है? पहले इसके साथ शुरू करते हैं. Who can qualify to be a Bae?
The problem is कि आपने मुझे Bae बुलाया, so now I'm finding the right words. They don't apply to me, but when it comes to Karan and Ananya, I think being an OG Bae is having that right amount of sass, having that right amount of style, but also knowing how to take a joke on yourself.
And that's what you've done with this entire career move, I would say. Matlab, I met Siddhant 2 days ago and he's like in this whole action mode and all of that. And when I met him, I was like, do you know that your line
जहाँ हमारे सपने पूरे होते हैं वहाँ इनका स्ट्रगल शुरू होता है
is now in the promo of her new show?
आपकी मजबूरी जहाँ शुरू होती है वहाँ तक पहुँचना ही तो हमारा सपना है.
And he's like, देखो तो क्या चल रहा है. So let's talk about that
It
first.
sounded exactly like Siddhant.
I know.
Yeah, I was like, who's he here?
So let's talk about that. Taking what is thrown at you and owning it, is it a Bae thing or an Ananya thing?
A little bit of both, I would say. I think that's Ananya has learned that from her father because he's always been the first one to, take a joke on himself, and he has a very thick skin when it comes to things like this. So I think in general, I do have that ability to do that. But I think that the more I'm growing up, I'm learning that there's a fine line between that and disrespect, and I'm kind of trying to draw that line. So I think I'm making those things clear the older that I'm getting, that, I'm drawing my own line of respect when it comes to things like that, because I think it's all in your hands, the way that people respect you and the way people look at you. So I'm trying to take control of things. Maybe that's what I'm doing differently now, that if there's a joke on me, I'm making that joke and I'm laughing on it and stuff. I like that. I like having that power when it comes to this. And when it comes to Bae, I think even with Bae, the thing is, I think she's in on the joke. A lot of people think that she's not aware and she doesn't know what's happening. I think she knows what's happening, but she's very happily living in her own bubble, And I think when it comes to that line of Sid's in the show, a lot of people have tried to put that into many ads and films and stuff before. But the reason why I felt comfortable doing it in this was because it made sense for Bae also to be in that situation, for her to say those lines or for her to react like that. When you see it as a scene, it makes sense. Like that would completely happen. So yeah, that's why I felt like it goes with the self-aware tone of the show.
And because you said that it's who I am today, I'd like to say that there is a bit of a growth journey that we've seen with you. And not claiming to know you before, but I love this Ananya Panday. She is, more confident, having more fun doing, the work that she's doing, and also owning a lot of, who she is. So the question is actually not for you, the compliment is for you. How did you know कि यही है आपकी Bae? Like, did you have any broad strokes of anybody else in your mind at all, or was it always Ananya?
No, I think it was always Ananya. I mean, we will always discuss a few names, but I think she was always on the top of that list. And it felt like a very natural fit, Having said that, of course, we work on the script once we know Ananya's on board and, some of the references come in and we have fun with it because we know she is, as a person, she can, own that narrative. But I think it felt so natural and she felt so ready. This is actually, I think, her 10th project. Yeah. And I was working with Ananya after she's worked with some brilliant directors. And she felt so on and so ready to shoot. And I have to say that shooting a web series as a lead character is a huge responsibility. A lot of times, I mean, if Ananya must have been in different films, they're ensemble cast, they're with other heroes, so to speak, even if she's the hero of the story. But, there is a certain amount of responsibility which lies on their shoulders. Here I'm a newcomer director, and here she had to headline the show by herself, and we all collectively felt that she can do it. So it was casting her in more ways than one, that she can take the responsibility as a star to own this web series, and she's a great fit for the character.
And back to compliments for you.
I'm feeling. I'm having a great day so
No,
far.
I mean, I do want to say that there has been a tremendous growth as an actor, which I think I kind of saw the first glimpse of that in Pati Patni Aur Wo, and that's been a while, I know. But Kho Gaye Hum Kahan got you a recognition that, I don't know, were you prepared for that? And do you think that there's something different? You're doing something differently versus when you started off?
I think I'm just feeling a lot easier, because I think when I started out, I was very wound up and very caught up, and I would only do exactly what my directors would tell me to do, which is wonderful as well, because I'm still a director's actor completely. But I didn't know that I could bring myself to characters. I didn't know that I could improvise or I could give ideas of my own. So I feel like for the first few films, I was kind of just going with whatever was happening around me. But I think it's the same thing as I said about kind of taking the power and owning something. And that's something that I learned from Shakun, because he did not let me, slack for 1 second, even though it wasn't the main character in the film. And that was also an ensemble with Tian Gehraiya. He really made me do the homework and understand the character and own it and get the backstory correct. And now that's just become my process with every, project that I take on. So I think having a lot more fun, and especially with Bae, I'd done Vikram sir's film right before that, and obviously the tone of that is very different. So when I came on to Bae, I was a little conscious with the comedy. I didn't know how full out I should go. Can I make these expressions? Will I look weird? But with Bae, I think that layer of doubt and, just consciousness kind of broke away. And we just had fun, and we were like playing, and we were trying so many different things. So I just had a lot of fun with it. I'm enjoying now.
My, not my struggle. I'm not using the word struggle.
I'm stopping you before you have your moment.
Yeah. My challenge was to get Ananya to break away from the subtle acting that she'd been doing.
Imagine me.
ये problem हो गई थी.
Imagine.
And I am a huge Sridevi fan.
Yes.
Okay? Especially in comedy.
Like ChaalBaaz and everything.
Yeah. Just her eyes, her expressions, and how funny she is when she's on screen playing these characters, I mean, in a ChaalBaaz especially. And so I used to just go and say, please, Sridevi. I used to just tell her. That was our...
You have to channel.
I love it.
Because I didn't want it to seem like, I don't want to say ki act more or make more expressions. But if I use someone like Sridevi, it brings that weightage ki, even she's done that for comedy.
Yeah.
Bae की एक खास बात ये भी है कि through all of this, through all of the clothes, through all of the parties, through all of the champagne flutes, through all of the designer bags, the underlying message is that Bae is a girl with a golden heart.
Absolutely.
And kindness is your greatest virtue. क्या ये ज़रूरी था, as a message to give out to people as well?
I think it also brought the humanity in Bae, because when you see her at a first glance, you kind of just see these fluffy, frills about her. But the more you grow with her and the more you understand her, you see she is the way she is because of a reason. Even when she's talking to her handbags, it's because she didn't have anyone to talk to growing up. So when you see it out of context, it'll be like, oh, this is a funny scene. But when you watch it in the flow of the show, you understand that, growing up, even though she comes from this privileged background, her family was very regressive in terms of the way they treated her brother and treated her. So that also affected her confidence and stuff in a way. So yeah, I think also the way people judge Bae, but she never judges people around her. Everything that happens to her, she still sees the world with, rose-tinted glasses, and she likes to believe in the good of people.
I think she sees the goodness and niceness in people. And it was very important to show a very fashion-forward character say the lines, kindness never goes out of fashion.
Yes.
And that's, the brilliance of Ishita Moitra's writing.
Yes.
That you can put a message like that. Whatever you see on screen may be very fashionable, but actually, it's who you are.
Yeah, and it's not just in what she said, it's in everything that she does also through the show. Yeah.
Yes, I loved it for all of these reasons. In fact, Ishita was telling me how, a lot of these experiences written into the show are when she moved from Delhi to Bombay as well. And Mumbai is the biggest leveler. हम सब traffic में अटकते हैं. अनन्या पांडे कभी traffic में अटकती हो?
Abhi, that's why I'm late, guys. I was 20 minutes late because मैं traffic में ही अटकी थी.
What is?
Yes, I got stopped.
What?
Yes, By the cop.
Why?
Yeah, I was like, Ziao Dina Saab and all, I had to do that.
Oh my God,
yeah,
so
yeah,
cute.
Yeah.
Now, what is the most Bombay thing that you do?
I mean, I've grown. Live, exactly. Survive
Live,
in the city.
survive.
Try to cross the road without getting smacked. Yeah, would be.
That's true, though. That's true. But what is the one thing that you do which tells you that I'm in my city?
I mean, I don't know anything but this city. You know, my entire life, I think also for women, it's a very safe city to live in, you know. So just walking on the road and being a liberated girl makes me feel like a girl of Mumbai.
I think it's amazing how we all take that for granted until we meet our friends and they're like, yaar, तुम लोग रात को रिक्शा ले सकते हो अकेले.
Because no one's ever sleeping in Mumbai.
Exactly. I want to ask you some fun questions. If you could cast your own friends in Call Me Bae, who would play what role Ananya Panday? Bae.
Any of my, maybe Orry.
Orry would be Bae.
Yeah. Or maybe I'd maybe want to take like a really quiet friend of mine who doesn't like talk a lot. Maybe Sohana's like the shyest out of everyone, so I'd want to see her as Bae.
She'd be Bae. Agastya.
No, it would be Aggie, like the real Aggie.
Huh.
I can't think of.
Some rich boy.
Some rich boy. Nice.
I would like to see Siddhant Chaturvedi actually play Agastya. Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Prince.
Prince.
Gym boy.
Karthik, maybe he would be fun.
He would
as
be Prince. This
Yeah.
is nice. This is Ananya recasting
Yeah,
Call Me Bae.
yeah.
This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Neil.
Agastya Nanda. My ring just flew. Agastya Nanda, I think, would be a great nail.
Saira.
Casting is very tough.
Yeah, see. Now you know.
Shania.
Okay.
Yeah.
Satyajit.
I'd like to see Karan
I
Johar
would
as
say
Satyajit.
Karan.
Yeah.
I would say Karan. He would
yeah.
make a fantastic
Yeah,
Satyajit.
yeah.
Just, he knows the sass to that.
Yeah.
So, Tamara.
Tamara, I would cast maybe Navya because she is like that, you know, that go-getter, hustler thing in real life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've recasted Sorry.
I've
Yes,
lost count
exciting.
of
Even
who I
Sounding like a
cast.
very exciting
Yeah,
cast.
I've lost count of this.
This is so fun. I hope you had fun
Okay,
doing that.
okay.
I want to ask the both of you, what do you hope that this show leaves people with? Okay, and that's a little more on a serious note. Okay, when you said you want to make the show, it's going to look a certain way, it's going to be fun, it's going to have this world or this universe. But there's still a reason why you chose to tell this story. What is that reason?
Absolutely. We've done everything in the show to make it aspirational and enticing and fun for people to watch. But obviously the real reason for me to actually direct the show is because it's saying something. And I think the underlying message, and I won't get into the details of what it's actually saying, but I think is if you hold on to your individuality, your own and your own voice, it's enough, to stand up against anything. And of course, there is a sense of coming together and Bhen-Code and Bro-Code and, but it's about holding on to your voice and your morals to actually make a difference. For me personally, I hope that this show somewhere leaves a dent in popular culture. I want it to be remembered for maybe an iconic character or a line or a phrase or something over the years.
I agree with you. Also, it's the sort of less judgmental behavior that we should all have, I think.
Absolutely.
And that's what I took away from the show, कि हम इतने आसानी से लोगों को judge करते हैं. And I think privilege is not a choice. It's something either you have or you don't have. And I think that was the greatest takeaway for me.
That's great.
Because I don't need to look at someone and judge them. I have to get to know them.
Absolutely.
And then I'll be in a better position. So that was me for no reason giving you my take on it. But
No, I feel like both of you said it so well. But for me, I think another thing is also hope. You know, when the times are dark and things seem dark, even in general, things we're seeing on screen also are so dark. We kind of just focus on the negativity and we kind of lose hope. But I feel like in general also it's a very bright, happy, light show. And also within the show, no matter how bad a situation is or no matter how bad you may think everyone around you is, there's always good people and there's always hope. So I like that idea and that message.
before we go, you have to talk about Bhen-Code.
Yes.
Okay, tell us 3 things that the Bhen-Code entails or should entail, and it couldn't be like just the show. I mean, if there was Bhen-Code in real life, which we all have, like what does hashtag Bhen-Code entail?
I think it entails supporting one another and not feeling jealous or angry or competitive in a bad way and fixing each other's crown and all of that stuff. Just not judging each other no matter and trying to really understand why someone is feeling a certain way and letting them make their own mistakes and then being there for them, you know, listening to them and just being a good friend in that way. And another thing is not letting boys come in the way.
That's so important.
Yeah.
I completely
And that's a
agree
really
with
good thing about our show. Like Lyra said it that day, but in the show, you see real female friendships that are not discussing boys, that are not fighting over boys, that are actually just supporting one another and just hustling in the city and, you know, taking tips from one another and just being allies, which I think is so important to see on
Correct.
screen.
That is so important, and we can't tell you too much right now because you might not have watched the show and we don't want to give you spoilers. But there is an exact moment when I felt that, because there is, you know, the story goes that way. And I was just like, I've probably never seen that happen. There's a lot of stuff that you might not have seen happen, but that's why you should watch Call Me Bae. I'm so proud that it's a story that comes out of, you know, us.
And I feel like we binge watch like an Emily in Paris and a Clueless and a Mean Girls. But then when it comes from our own country, also we should be proud because Bae couldn't exist in any other country. She's a complete Delhi girl and all the other characters are Mumbai characters, and that adds so much to them. So I actually think it's a moment of like happiness that we've made our own content like that.
Correct.
as
So,
well.
and that's why I think you should be watching it. I hope it was fun for you, and don't forget it's going to stream on Amazon Prime Video on the 6th of September. Call Me Bae. Thank you so much, Colin. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Ananya.
Thank you,
It was
Ro.
so much fun talking to you all today.
Same here.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ananya Panday and I had such a fun chat with Rotalks. If you like this video, like, comment and subscribe to Fever FM.
Just to thrill me, just to thrill me.